I'm getting low on that good cup of joe. Well, how we doing, gear lovers the world over? Man, am I stoked for today's video, and you probably are too if you clicked on it, because you are curious about these new Buck range series of knives, which are USA made, sporting crossbar locks, sporting different types of steel, and different price points. And I have had a chance to really put these through their EDC paces. Man, EDC, everyday carry paces, what you would do on a daily basis with these blades. And I have found out that there are some excellent attributes that even surpass Benchmade's and, God forbid, HOGUE and the MYSTO that we just recently talked about, and some aspects that absolutely fall short. Man, stay where I want you to. And I'm going to highlight what those are, where these blades make sense, maybe where they do not, what Buck has absolutely hit out of the park, and what they have done to fall flat on their faces. And we're just going to have a ton of fun in this particular video. Welcome if you're new. I'm Aaron. This is Gideonstactical, and we are going to jump right in with the Elite range series first. There is the Pro series second. We're going to discuss that. And here's the deal. You can get either size, the small or mini or the regular, in either variant. You can get the full size in the Pro, more budget-friendly options, or you can get the mini in the more elite premium versions. Now, right out of the gate, some things that really stood out to me is that on the Elite, we're looking at MagnaCut steel. Oh yeah, MagnaCut on a high saber grind. And it is 0.09 stock thickness. So this thing is slicey. Now, Buck always does a good job with their edge geometry. Sometimes their grinding can be a little off, but I actually saw that the tip grind, some symmetry on this Elite especially, I was really pleased with. The relief edge on that sub 1/8 of an inch thick grind on 3.3 inches means that this is one of the more ideal sizes and more slicey blades you're going to find, but you get better edge geometry than which I prefer over like a full flat. I like high sabers, and when you put it on a thin blade, it gives you a perfect blend of durability and sliceability, and this thing wickedly disassembles material, if I could speak, disassembles material, cutting through cardboard and cordage and rope and all this stuff, just a single push cut, bam, it's gonna go through the material, and you're getting a really good amount of cutting edge with just a classic drop point. There's nothing crazy about it. There's no swedges, there's no clips, there's none of this craziness going on, and the cutting edge on the full size, when I actually line that up, is about 3 1/8, because we do have a pretty large sharpening ricasso right there to accommodate for the crossbar lock. Boom, that goes right into place. Excellent centering. And here's what's crazy along with that. You know, you get your standard crossbar that we would know, good back spacer for the stop pin, good thickness right there. Bronze washers. I was actually watching the update video from Buck, and these feel like bearings, but they say they're washers and they look like bronze washers in there. So you get good lockup, side to side, up, down, exactly what a crossbar is going to feel. So there's slight play. You know, every Benchmade, every HOGUE, every blade I've ever owned with a crossbar has ever so slight play, but you get the speed of actuation with that, and this thing coasts. It is a creamsicle on these washers. So, and I'm seeing more and more companies, you know, Benchmade does washers, but HOGUE did washers. Thank you manufacturers for going away from, ball bearings are fine in certain spaces and certain areas, but man, I'll take good bronze washers like on these Bucks than bearings any chance I get. They're just more durable, and I just feel like have less play overall. That's me, that's my mileage. Your mileage may vary. So sliceability, MagnaCut. Because this is so new and I'm actually filming this pre-launch, I believe they do 62 to 64 on their fixed blade MagnaCut, so I can only assume that's what they're doing on this. If it's really low, that kind of sucks. I don't think it is. I'll try to annotate it in if I can and run in a screenshot, but if not, you know, obviously just check. But I believe, you know, I mean, a Boss, we know for decades now. Boss heat treat on any of Buck's blades always perform really well, and I saw no chipping, rolling, or speed of dulling on the MagnaCut blade. Now, let's go ahead really briefly go through a few other attributes before we kind of talk more about the Mini and some of the issues and hangups I have, but the excellent value on the Pro as well, and not too bad on this Elite. Now, the Elites are going to come with aluminum for all of those of you across the pond. Handles, you can get them in a couple different colors. This is like an OD green that I really like. Not even really an OD, it's kind of like a gray green. I really like that. Machined and scalloped handles that they did really well. You're going to get the stainless steel liner mechanism to house around the pivot, the lock, all that. That goes 50%, and that's going to be on both the polymer Zytel handled Pros and the Elites. So that's good. Extra rigidity there, some flow-through construction, and they've done a good job. These are just two pieces. There's no back spacers, and they just bolt that all in. Actually, no, wait. Does this have a seam? I can't remember. Yeah, it's a seam. I see a seam. Sorry. Had to double check that. There is a slight seam there, but it's just two pieces bolted together, no back spacer in that. That's just kind of a cool extra accent. It is ambi, and they have done a really good job. They do this with some of their other blades. You have two bolts back there, deep ride. It's going to be flush, good tension. It's a great pocket clip. It doesn't move. It's solid in there. And then with my large size hands, 3 1/4 knucks, look at how deep that guard is. You're really locked into place, and it only comes in at 3.3 ounces. So this thing is nice and light for, I would argue, a good medium-sized blade. You know, it's not like an XL large, but look at how good that is. Light jimping along the back spine, excellent, 0 complaints there, and cool offset thumb studs that are not, because of the angle, going to hamper resharpening. You can remove them if you needed to, but excellent. There's really, on this Elite, almost nothing in the full size that I can complain about. I do have a few issues with the Mini and the benefits also to the Pro, which is going to be wild when we get to pricing. Now to the Mini and the Pro series. Again, you can swap and get a full-size Pro or a Mini Elite, and whichever you want to do. And they have changed slightly a few different things, but overall, the things that are good, I'll hit the things that are good first and foremost, is that on the Pro series, small or large, you're going to get Zytel handles, which are going to actually lighten up the folders even more. This Mini is under 2 ounces. You are going to get, again, that metal housing inside that goes to right here to give you strength and durability around the pivot and the locking mechanism, and you're going to get some slight texturing and molding. So I would argue that actually the Pro series, the cheaper series, feels a little more contoured, a little more ergonomic. Obviously, aluminum feels more premium in that sense, but it's slick and it's flat. Good machining on all the edges. There's no sharp edges, but this is actually going to feel more tactile. If you do a lot more outdoor use, you're working on the farm, the ranch, the job site, whatever, camping, backpacking, this is the model that I would actually prefer regardless of the size that you go with. This is more for like the office, date night, or you just like aluminum handles a little bit more. So that is what they did there. Now they changed that up. Now it's still 2 pieces of Zytel or polymer that come together that they bolt, but because it's all polymer and not, you know, aluminum, then they swapped it out. Great recess screws. These pocket clips are good, man. They did a good job. You flip it over, ambi, good loop over design. It's a little big, I guess, but I mean, they recessed everything. They did a good job. Overall, great job on these pocket clips as well. It just won't mount to the back, and you're going to have that slight lip there, but thankfully the handles are all, or the screws are all recessed. So good contouring and really well done. The blade steel, 154 cm. I love 154 cm. I've used it on many bucks over the years. Great. They do a good job with it, and I think it is an awesome option for American-made knives when you are looking for value that we're about to get to. So 154 cm will be the steel choice on the Pro, and then MagnaCut is on the Elite, and that will definitely affect pricing. Here's the deal that I have with the Mini. I don't like it. Hands down, full stop, I don't like it for multiple reasons. First and foremost, even though it's the same stock thickness, the grind is lower just because the blades are smaller. And I had a lot of binding up on this one. And I would argue that the edge geometry is the same. They did a good job with the relief edge. The tips is good. All the plunge lines seem to really be matching up well. and that has been an issue in the past for Buck, so I'm pleased with the fit and finish, but it's just a lower grind, and you notice it. If you want, between these two, the larger version, because of the higher grind and same stock thickness, is just going to be a better slicer. I didn't have anywhere near the binding up, especially on cardboard, that I did on this model. Now, all other cordage, rubber, just general EDC tasks, you're going to not see that much of a difference, but with a blade length of like 2.6, definitely under 3 inches, which is good, so it'll fit in certain locations where blade length is an issue. It just doesn't work quite like this one does, regardless of the steel choice that you were to go with. So that was kind of the first thing. The other thing is the handle. It can't make up its mind with my large size hands, 3 1/4 knuckle span, because the overall handle length is 3.6 inches, but what actually matters is from guard to bird beak, and it is less than 3 inches. It is I'm gonna actually say it's about 2 3/4 of an inch from guard to bird beak where it stops. And my hand, again, 3 1/4, means that I can't, there's just enough that my finger's like wanting to coast on it, but I can't really get a grip. And so it's not a true 3-finger knife, and it's not a true 4-finger knife for me with large size glove hands. And so therefore I was constantly trying to figure out, how am I gonna grip this thing? So do I just back off even more to give it a full 3-finger, or am I trying to like almost come over the guard and grip it? So the handle is not appropriately proportioned in my mind. I think they should have either shrunk it even a little bit more, which I don't think would have been a good move, or fully brought it out just like 1/2 inch more, and then I probably could have gotten full grip and committed to the knife, and I could have overlooked some of the lackluster cutting when it comes to slicing compared to its big brother. But as it stands, I'm fighting to try and figure out where the mini grips well, and it just doesn't grip well for my size hands. If you're a female, if you have smaller hands overall, like mini hands, kids, if you're looking, you got junior hires, that are looking at maybe you want to get this for their first knife, maybe it'll work. Honestly, that's why I have this guy over here for our first competitive option. The CIVIVI baby banter and knives like it, same kind of idea, but if I hold it here, it's a full 3-finger knife, but it has that choil, I can get full grip. So if you were to ask me of knives like that, I mean, I'm sacrificing slight edge length, but it's minimal. This would be my choice. I'm gonna go for these sizes. If you're compare the Buck Mini to something like this, I'm gonna go with something like this over the Buck Mini. That's me, that's my mileage. Your mileage may vary. Okay, now how does these stack up financially compared to other blades, and what would I actually do, and which one am I actually most stoked about? Here's the deal. At launch, and these are MSRP prices, so they may fluctuate slightly, you may be able to hunt around and find them slightly less, but here's the cool part. The Elite is $220 MSRP for MagnaCut, USA made, all these features, aluminum handles. That is pretty impressive. And then if you look at the Elite Mini, I think it's about $10 less on average is the kind of the going rate. So that would be like, I don't know, $209 or something like that if you wanted to get the Mini Elite. I wouldn't, but maybe you do. For the pros, here's where it really starts to get awesome. If you want to get the full-size Pro with 154 cm and Zytel, you're looking at about $125 MSRP. Yes, awesome. $125. I am super happy about that. And honestly, if you were to ask me, and probably what I am going to end up long-term doing is going to be getting a Pro version of the full size, because I'm going to get the kind of handle ergonomics I more gravitate to. I get 154 cm, which is still a great performer steel, and you're getting it for that price point. I am super pleased with that. Now, I do appreciate Buck sending me these samples over early. They did not pay or sponsor for this video in any way, shape, or form. I just have the sponsors that we've talked about, and through Patreon and affiliate links. I'll have all the affiliate links for all these, that you can find them at distributors like DLT, Bladehq, GP Knives, and anywhere else, Smoky Mountain Knife Works. Those are all included in the description box below. How do these stack up value-wise? Well, when we look at like a Benchmade, which usually have lower HRC, and this is just a Zytel handle, we're looking at like $260, I believe, for the full size, and I think it's maybe $250 for the Mini currently. So when we're looking at aluminum handles, we're looking at the MagnaCut, You know, this has Magna Cut as well. Very, very good value, very competitive with a lot of other guys. Now, it's not quite on par with, say, whatever and however Hogue is doing it at $180 for knives like the MYSTO. Just recently reviewed that knife. You can go check that video out. I'll try and tag that. But I would say this is a very good kind of in the middle when we look at the elites, especially between it's not as expensive as Benchmade's, which is awesome, and I think it's pretty much the middle of the road. Not able to quite compete on the pricing with like the Kershaw Bel Air or some of the Hogues, but I think is still a phenomenal value for an American made. You know, you get their 25, is it lifetime? Sorry, not 25. I'm thinking Leatherman. Their lifetime warranty, all that stuff. Very, very pleased with the Elite, and especially if we start looking at the pros, I think that it's very good, and I'm very happy that Buck is doing this. They tend to do this regularly, but this kind of here's an Elite version, and then here's a more budget friendly option so that you can really check the boxes, figure out what you need. So appreciate you guys. Check out the other videos. Subscribe if you haven't. Until next time, always remember to stay equipped, stay prepared, and I'll see you out there.